I'm Linda Sousa from lindasousa.com, enjoying the journey. And today is Sunday, and again, it's meal prep and preparation day for the 21 day fix. And actually, for 22-minute hardcore or whatever program that you're on, because this is all, flexible for the different Beachbody programs that we have, and certainly flexible for the lifestyle changes that my husband John and I have been making. So I'm going to make a few things. One of them is a little mini meatloaves. Actually, one of the wonderful friends and fellow coaches, Audrey, we were on a team call the other night, and she was cooking. She's cooking in the background, and she was making these little mini meatloaf. And I thought, what a great idea. And I hadn't done that. I've done, the big meatloaves, frozen them, done that. But I love the idea of doing the little mini meatloaf. So I'm taking a little page from her playbook, and I'm doing some mini meatloaves this morning that I'm gonna cook and get all ready, and then freeze them, put them in the freezer, and then we can take them out whenever we need them, whenever we want them. I'm also gonna make these little egg muffins. You can do them. You can add sausage. You can add breakfast meat to it if you want to, turkey sausage. But I'm gonna do them meatless. So we'll be putting a little bit of spinach and some vegetables in that. And then we love beets, so I'm going to show you how we prepare our beets. You can boil them, cook them, and then then you peel them and slice them and have them ready. Again, a lot of easy go-to things that don't take a lot of time to do, but I try to do them. I try to do them all at once, get them all done, and then I'm all set for the week. Because as you know, if you're following a program, or as you should know, if you're going to start following a program or changing your lifestyle to eat healthier and to take better care of yourself, preparation and planning is key. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but it does have to take some thought. And once you get used to it, and once you've done it a couple of times, it becomes rote, very common, very easy, and it really doesn't take a lot of time because you kind of think ahead and you plan in that way. And what you're really doing is you're setting yourself up for success. So I'm going to start with the mini meatloaf. And I've already done some of this. You can use a food processor to shred or chop. And I did part and part, or a little box grater, which works wonderful. And so what I did was some zucchini. And I just shredded that with the box grater very, very simply. Again, you could do it in the food processor. I also did a carrot with that. And then this is a combination of, I love shallots. They just have a nice, easy, smooth taste. And I love them actually when you're doing like a chicken marsala or something like that. It gives a really nice depth to the sauce. So this is actually a combination of some garlic, some onion, and some shallot, which I did chop up in the food processor. This is, and it's got a lot of liquid in it, and I don't want to add that liquid when I'm adding it to my mixture because we have a lot of ingredients here that have a lot of water in them that are going to make our meatloaf very soupy if we add too much liquid to it. So here is just simply a red bell pepper, and you can call them a cubanella. We call them banana peppers or Italian peppers. My dad used to grow these in the garden. We love them. They're like my secret ingredient in my sauce. And so I have a cubanella or a banana pepper along with a red bell pepper, and I've crushed that up here. One of the other things I'm going to be making as well, and actually I'm just thinking about it, I forgot that, and we'll get to that in a little bit, is I'm going to stuff some peppers. And I'm doing that with a mixture that my husband already made and we had in the freezer, and I just took out. And I'm going to get it all ready. I'm going to stuff the peppers with it and put it in the fridge, so that way at some point this week it's a simple meal. We take it out, throw it in the oven, and it's a done deal. So I'll show you how to do that as well, and I'll give you his recipe when I get to that point. So for my little mini meatloaf, I'm going to start with, essentially it's about a pound of ground turkey. And I like the, Nature's Best, or actually if you can get it nice and fresh from a health food store. This is just, ground turkey. So I'm going to start with that. And then this actually is ground beef, and it's a pound of ground beef that we got from a place called Tender Crop Farms. It's in Dover. It's not that far from us. It's near where my in-laws live, and they raise their own cattle. All the meat is fresh, and obviously it's butchered there, and so it's very, very fresh. And we actually bought it last week, and just brought it home, put it right in the freezer. And we like a mixture of the ground beef and the ground turkey. Now, I just washed my hands before we started, so I'm going to be using my hands to mix. But I may be not using all of my vegetables, so I am going to wash my hands right now, just because I don't like cross-contamination. I'm going to be very, very careful with that stuff. So into my bowl is the ground turkey and the ground beef. I am going to put some of my peppers, the 2 types of peppers that we had, and I'm gonna keep adding to see what I need as I go along. And I'm probably going to put a fair amount of our shredded zucchini. Now, if you wanted to, you could take these things, put them in a saute pan, and cook them a little bit, just to reduce them and get them a little, a little softer. But the way when you use them shredded rather than chopped up, they cook so quickly and easily anyway. So you really don't need to do that. And I think I'm going to add all of the carrot. I may actually end up adding all of that zucchini. And I'm going to add probably all of this. We're just going right in and going to make a nice hearty meatloaf. Now, of course, we need something to bind this. I'm going to add this too. Let's just put it all in here. The peppers, I think I may not put all of them in. Let me just see what I've got. You could also add some tomato, some fresh tomato, cut it up, put that in there if you want. I know some people like ketchup in meatloaf. I think that's going to be good for now. So I'm going to just put that over there and get that out of the way. So before I get my hands in there and start mixing stuff around, I am going to put my binding ingredient, which is really going to be my eggs. And you can use oats. You can use some old-fashioned rolled oats if you want. That gives it a nice texture. You could also use gluten-free breadcrumbs, and these are actually Italian breadcrumbs. They're gluten-free, or you can use panko crumbs if you want. You don't really have to use that many. You can also, because I'm doing this, we follow the 21-day fix, and we actually do a little bit of both, depending on which program we're doing. 21-day fix, the 22-minute hardcore. But you'll have to kind of like figure out the measurements as you go along. I don't measure a lot, but I do try to stick to the containers when I'm measuring out individual things. But when I'm making a recipe like this, I would count like one of those meatloaves as a red, for sure. Probably a quarter of the yellow, because when the quantity of this, when you put it in here, is going to spread out over a number of meatloaves, so it's not like you're eating a full container. The other thing you can do instead of the gluten-free breadcrumbs is I have discovered Ezekiel bread. I'm sure that you probably can get it in most markets. It's usually found in the freezer section. Love Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel bread and English muffins. And these are, this is 7 sprouted grains. It's all whole grain. It's awesome. And you can take this bread, because when I make my Italian meatballs, I usually use fresh bread. Now I'm tending to use a little less bread, and I'm going now to the Ezekiel bread. I would take that and I'd either moisten it in some water to crumble it up a bit, or actually some milk, or some plain almond milk. But you could also use this, put this in the food processor and crumble it all up to give you a little bit of a binding substance if you wanted to use the Ezekiel bread instead of the Quaker oats or the panko. Or you could leave out any of the bread ingredients or the whole grain ingredients completely. That's entirely up to you. I'm using the gluten-free breadcrumbs, so I'm going to add one of those. I may need more. And there is, like I said, a lot of water, a lot of moisture in the zucchini and the peppers, and that's going to kind of absorb this, because typically what I would do with the breadcrumbs is I would add some liquid to it to kind of fluff it up a bit and moisten it so it kind of moistens it before it goes into my mixture. And then I'm going to add, I'm going to start with 1 egg. I think I may need 2 eggs. When I'm going into a bowl like this, I don't want to crack it and put it right in. I like to do it in a separate dish just in case. You know, you might get some eggshell in there, and I'm going to rinse my hand again because I touched that. And you could actually, I'm going to get a fork to beat this just a little before I put it in here. And then before I get my hands in there and really get down and dirty, I want to add some seasonings. Let me just put that right into the sink. So, I'm going to make this a little spicy. There's a great recipe. Tony Horton has this little spice mix that he has in the 22-minute hardcore. So if you have the book, it's, let's see, what page? Probably should put my glasses on for this. I think it's page 37. Yeah, on page 37, if you have the rations book for the 22-minute hardcore, he has this great blend, and I made up a big batch of it because we can add it to chicken and fish and different things. But it's garlic powder, dried Mexican oregano, cayenne pepper, cumin, black pepper, and some Himalayan sea salt. So that's what's in this little mixture here. It's a combination of those things. And if you want the recipe, just shoot me an email or a message, and I will respond back to you and give you the actual ingredients. Or you can, if you have the program, you can just go in and find that. I'm going to put a little bit of this spice in here. We're just going to kick it up a little. Give it a little. My husband likes heat, so we're going to make that nice for him. And I'm going to move that out of the way because when I'm going to get my hands into the meat, I really don't want anything else in there to contaminate it. And I probably should have taken off these this rosary bead bracelet that my husband made me for my birthday before I started here, or use my other hand. But as you can see, I don't know if you can see this mixture. It's starting to mix up nicely. I am going to take that off because I think it's a little distracting. And then I'm going to get both of my hands. I don't know if you can see me, but I think you can hear me. I'm going to get both of my hands in there and just really, really mix that up. So if you bear with me a second while I do that. There we go. Now let's get in here and really mix this up. So this is very loose. It's all that liquid, plus turkey has a tendency, ground turkey has a tendency to be very loose as well. And I really want to mix it. I want to mix it really well. You kind of just want to squeeze it right through like your fingers, because you want to get everything all mixed in, all blended together. But the one thing we want is a nice moist meatloaf. And it smells delicious. I wish they had like a smell option when you're doing a video for the aroma, because it really smells awesome. You can smell the ground or the very finely chopped red pepper, and you get a little hint actually of that seasoning of Tony Horton's seasoning blend there. This actually looks good, and I kind of like the consistency. I probably could add so maybe either another egg to bind it a little more. You can also add cheese if you wanted to. I love Pecorino Romano. It's my favorite cheese. Grew up with it. My husband's not a big fan of cheese, so I'm not going to add cheese to this, but you could add some cheese if you wanted to. And that would be an additional way to bind it. But I think this is good, and the consistency actually feels really good. So we're going to go with it. And I'm going to put that right there for the moment. Wash my hands again. It's an endless cycle of hand washing. when you're cooking, especially with meat and you're using eggs. It's really important. And I'm just going to clean off this board. There we go. Put those right there. Now, I'm not sure exactly how many that's going to take, so we're going to start with one. This is olive oil. It's just a little infuser, and there's olive oil, just a little can. And I'm going to give each one just a little coating, and then I'm going to coat the top, because in case it comes up over the top, I don't want it to stick. So it's just a touch of olive oil. And now I'm just going to take these and kind of almost make a little round and put one in. Kind of almost like a little meatball. That's actually perfect size for that. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? I think I put the bowl right in front, obstructing your view. Let me move it this way. How about if I do that? Those are actually looking really good. I can't wait to get them in the oven, and they're going to make the house smell really good too, actually. I kind of want to make sure I got them the same size. It looks like I may need to go into a second pan, but we'll see. I could have filled these less too, actually. These look like a pretty decent size portion of meat. And if I wanted to be really precise, I could get one of those red containers, put one in the red container, and make sure that it fits. I'm going to have to put these all in the dishwasher because I'm touching these like this, so I'm not going to be using it for anything else right now, but I am going to kind of do that little experiment right now just to show you. So, because I think the ones I've made are just a little big. Now you need to be able to get the cover on there. So, I think that one's good. Oop, got that out. Now we'll just round it up. And let's see how she fares with the rest. A little smaller, I think. Not much, though. Not bad. We could actually take a little off. Got to eyeball it. Make them all the same. Now, if I started out that way, I wouldn't be doing... This one works perfect. See how easy it is? There's really not a lot to it. And seriously, there you have it. There are now 6 little mini meatloaves. Now I have another meatloaf pan, and I was going to use for the eggs, but I guess we're going to use it for meatloaf, so I'm going to do the meatloaves first. I will show you something else after this video is over, and we'll get those meatloaves in. So you see what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill the rest of these. I'm going to put them in the oven. I'm going to cook them, and then we'll come back later. I'm going to show you now after how to make the egg muffin for like little mini breakfast that you can make ahead, throw in the freezer, and then I will show you. I'll come back later and I will show you at the end of this video. We'll tag it on the cooked version of these. All right, so I'll see you in a little bit. Hi, Linda Sousa from lindasousa.com, enjoying the journey. And a little while ago we were here and I made some little mini meatloaves, and so put them in the oven, and this is what they look like when they come out of the oven. These are little mini meatloaves. So the recipe that we had makes 8 little mini meatloaves, and we're going to take those, let them cool, wrap them up individually, and put them in the freezer, and then when we want them, we can take them out, heat them up, have them with a side, and a vegetables or a salad, or for lunch or for dinner, whatever it is that we want. Actually, I'm going to be making later in another video some cauliflower puree. So it's almost like mashed potatoes, but it's so much better because it's so much healthier for you, and it's delicious. So that's actually how this week we're going to have our mini meatloaves with a nice salad and some cauliflower puree. So that is Linda Sousa's version of mini meatloaf.